trying to figure out where Girl Scout cookies are available for purchase and monetization in the middle of a golf course that's under construction.
Music, of the major arts, meets the widest appreciation of the people. From the early 19th century, this art has been progressively cultivated in the United States, its course having been directed by Germans as instrumentalists and largely by Italians as interpreters of opera and teachers of voice. The history of music, this situation temporarily due to the causes which make life so difficult in most European countries, is likely to become permanent. Therefore, in view of such existing conditions, and in consideration of the importance of music in our worldwide life, the means of acquiring an appreciation of this art should be sought by the many. An elementary knowledge of rhythm, and of the relations between melody and harmony, and of the families and the functions of instruments suffices for the casual listener to transform an orchestral performance from pure chaos into a cognitive example of law and order.
Persona non grata. That's Public Enemy number something. Person not welcome. Well, that wouldn't be me. Good grade. I mean, I get a kick out of the vernacular. That's my favorite part of listening to the people, to the listener, the audience. You know, carrying on into the night, in the kitchen, on the street, at the clubhouse, whatever, you know, just bullshitting around ideas of the future. Things, such grand plans for what could be. It was a good ideas time. No, well, I thought it was written in an obsolete vernacular, which blah 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 blah. You're full of shit. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so harsh. That was the other guy. Look, baby, it's gonna work if you work it. Be prepared to be disappointed if what you're after is someone else's idea of success. If what you're after is that, someone else's idea of success, then you got a big thing coming. The people decide if it's good. You know, I get a kick out of what you see on the telly, on the television, in the news. You know, it's almost as if they know we're not thinking for ourselves. You know, if the audience suspects that you think you're smarter than them, you're probably not going to get their vote or be as popular as you'd like. I mean, you want them to relate with you. I expect you to be able to understand the difference between right and wrong. You know, these are concepts that we when we walk out the door every day. You know the difference between what you like and what you don't like, and that is really just about the only thing you could actually know. I don't know. It's probably one of the smartest things you could say if it's the truth. Sometimes that's a different story, but you know what you like, you know what you don't like, and that's it. I don't want to be mean or lay it on too harshly, but odds are you know what you like and you know what you don't like. Here's the big fun part. You're allowed to change your mind on that. People can change. People change every day. I would go through a list of the artists that had heavily influenced me in my teens and early 20s, but I don't do advertisements, so let's just say there's a lot of stuff I listen to that I don't listen to anymore, and when I do, there's a feeling of nostalgia, but I guess it depends on the company. If you're hosting, if you're entertaining, I'm not going to start putting on records that I know aren't going to get me laid.
Are you doing drugs right now? What is that? Are you drinking?
Easy. Easy, alright?
I just thought it was funny.
No, it's good.
That's what you are doing right now, as opposed to last time.
Don't worry about what I'm doing. Let's not worry about what I'm doing, because what I'm doing doesn't matter. I pay to play. We all pay to play. And you're going to have to pay to play for the rest of your life if playing is something you want to do. Even if you obtain capital as a result of playing, you'll be paying to play until you die. Space and time. Okay? The space required for you to physically exercise a craft, and the time it takes to focus on it for you to get good at it. I've heard grown men talk down in earshot of their own sons, you either have it or you don't. I don't know, having been someone who was born with it in someone else's opinion, I'm not entirely sure if I can subscribe to that notion. I think if you work at it, why wouldn't you be able to become a really good architect or the world's most luxurious builder of model trains? There are people building model trains in garages and in basements all over the world, and contrary to their own beliefs that might not be a form of rock and roll, I am quite happy to break the news to you. It is rock and roll, and that is amazing. Now, it's a bit of a lottery system. Not everyone's going to be able to make a living and send their children and offspring off to better lives as a result of their model train work. Some of them have, some of them will, some of them do. So if you're into the bullshit, then you're at the right garden at this moment, because that's what this is. I'm sitting here and I'm talking about it. It's one of my biggest pet peeves with artists, talking about it. It's funny in movies. I get a laugh at it in movies when people talk about their ideas and all the grand structure and the emotional being and that state of mind it was difficult for me when blah 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 blah. Go play your accordion. Go play your trumpet. Nobody wants to hear anybody practice the trumpet or learn how to play the accordion. I might have mentioned that earlier. If not, that's actually very important for you to get. Nobody wants to listen to their nephew or their daughter practicing to learn how to perform on an accordion or a trumpet or a drum kit. The advantage that most electronic musicians have is that because you can use headphones, that you have a manual volume control. You ever played a chord organ? You ever had one? You ever plugged one of those in and turned it on and seen what happens? There's no volume. It is its own volume. So it's going to take patience. And if you're lucky, really, if you're lucky, then you're in a community of people who will support you and who will encourage your progress. And that's really it. Because if somebody doesn't want to hear you play the trumpet, well, in 2 months, you're either going to give it up and they're going to be like, dodged a bullet, or you're going to fucking be really good at it and they're going to be like, that's my fucking kid who could play the hell out of that trumpet. I mean, and there it is. That's that. You're going to pay to play, no matter what. I only, seek avenues of expression that will benefit me. Yeah. Don't we all? If I could afford to go fill a stadium, I would. I wouldn't, really want to do that, to be honest with you. But of course I would if I could. But I could only imagine what that would be like. I mean, we're talking hands upon hands, lights upon lights, the big inflatable cock that's gonna crash land on the kit, and then the blood that's gonna explode when the blah blah blah. I haven't seen shit. I've heard of some great acts out there. I always wanted to go see this one group that everybody at school would get really excited, and they'd go to the show and they'd say, oh my God, by the end of the show I was covered in, oh God knows what, it's, what do they call it? It's started with a K, syrup. What is it? It's not, corn syrup, but there's another word for it. Caramo, something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Fake blood. All over the audience. They constructed a giant worm that came out and picked people up out of the crowd and then swallowed them, and they all got spit out backstage. Can you imagine how wonderful and extravagant of a show that is? Oh my God. I would love to fucking have a great time doing that for the rest of my life, but that's not, that avenue's, perhaps I've sabotaged it and it's not available to me for my own sake or whatever. But I don't regret not having a giant Sarlacc pit. Oh shit! Look out! I don't need no Mickey Mouse stuff. All right, I don't regret not having a giant oubliette under the stage to kind of throw a bunch of screaming happy go lucky teenage sheep into, and have them all go to what?
The insurance alone.
Oh. Yeah, the liabilities, the insurance alone. They say, they say, with a bigger show, when there's, you're more liable for more hands. I guess that's really when the drugs and alcohol is kind of supposed to find its place away from the act, because it's not conducive to success, because it's a higher probability of death by God knows what, death by ignorance, death by, whatever, overdose, blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying, kid, it can be done if you want to do it. But really, it's all about enjoying what you are doing. That's actually where the real success is found. It's the only time I feel in control of my life is when I'm holding a pen and a piece of paper and my guitar. It's the only time in my life that I'm actually in control of anything that's going on around me. Any moment, I'm sitting here in the Congo on the outskirts of the French Alps, and some thing could come out of the goddamn brush and say, do you have any fucking gray mustard? And I would say, poop on my dick. But that's just an example of the chaos that is real life. Someone's gonna, can you turn that sound down? It's gonna happen. Not everybody wants to listen to somebody learn how to play the trumpet or the accordion. I can only imagine what it's like to be, the father in the Addams Family. But if you want something specific, and you see the means, for example, I have before me a couple of pairs of sunglasses. Now I can see these sunglasses. That's enough of the sunglasses. Alright? Up here, man. Now I see them, and I know that I have a choice of what I want. Seeing it, taking it, it's as easy as that. if you have an opportunity to make good on your dreams, it really shouldn't be that difficult to at least become good at something that you like. And I can understand wandering through life trying to find something that you want to do. Some people actually do that for their entire lives. I think it's a beautiful thing. I have friends who just go to college and they love going to the administrations and learning in in an academic environment. They love it. Have they decided what they want to do with the rest of their lives? They're more content to just keep learning and taking various courses and expanding their minds. That's gorgeous. You don't have to even make a decision, because you're going to live the rest of your life, however long that is, regardless. So if learning one particular thing or finding something specific, whether it be an art or whatever, it's still going to be art no matter what it is. But yeah, go for it, and good for you. You're going to tell some kid, you know what, it's just not good. You know what you should do is become an electrician or a plumber, because those guys are going to get work for the rest of your life, with or without you. I didn't think about things like that when I was younger. I didn't think about like, oh wow, I want to make the money. I thought like, guitar's going to make money. All right, guitar's going to make money and get me laid. But I wasn't thinking about how, all right, one day you're going to want to like sit down more than you are stand up and like lift and throw weird things and walk. I love getting my steps in. Just making an example here. I wasn't thinking about the potential of not being able to provide for a family, or not being able to like panacheally, blow the socks off of some, kid. I just thought music, as seen on television, simple formula. Weird childhood abandonment issues from either or parent or full parties involved. Well, shit, I had that. That's a different story. But I had a thought at a young age that the equation for success was there. And I was quite happy to take the opportunity, thinking that the formula of success was all there. I've got dad issues, and I love my dad issues. They were my formula for success at a very young age. I wouldn't give him... We have actually a very good relationship, which is odd, considering he is still alive. But that's not going to be forever, and neither are you. I know I'm not. That's why I'm so comfortable to tell you. Don't take it personal. We're all going to go. I'm just saying. You don't have to have what it takes. God damn it! This is the kind of crap. All of it was gone. All of it. Can't use a damn thing. I'm just doing that. But the formula of success was apparent to me when I was young because of what I'd seen on television. And if someone can become capable of channeling their feelings and making it into art, well then by Jove, it can be done. And if that can get you on TV and like known worldwide for like being good at that, then go for it. I gave it a shot, and here I am on television. Talking to everybody about how you can do it. I come off a lot really aggressive sometimes, and I'm really excited. I want to tell you that you can do it. I don't want one of those. I'm not doing one of those. I'm just saying, talking about it's talking about it. You don't see a guitar in my hands right now. You don't see me with a pen and a paper writing how I feel and making it sound pretty. You're seeing me talk about it right now, and that is one of in person. In actuality, that's for TV. Obviously, I've had some nights carrying on. You are real. I might have been. I know I feel I am now, but it's possible down the road I might not be anymore. What I mean by that is that there is a unforeseeable but an inescapable future for each and every one of us, that in time, yourself and I will no longer exist. We will be a imprint, a memory to those who remain, but still an ever-fading wave of radiation that we use. This is the technological advance of the satellites, the various waves, gamma, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'm on TV right now. I'm talking to you. If you're listening, then thank you. Good to see you too. But there is life. When I was 13, I started thinking more about the world around me and what, through the miracle and wonders of the invention of television, I was shown more of the world, more of the 13-mile radius around my, house where I grew up, in my school that I went to when I was a puppy. And I thought music was just cool, My dad showed me when I was young a movie that was a black and white musical film by this group from Europe, and they were rocking, and all you saw was them being chased down by girls, just being chased in the street by mobs of females. And let me tell you, 5 years old, I was pretending to play a guitar with nothing in my arms, nothing but air. And I graduated to the broom by the time I was, younger than preteen. I was somewhere in the evolution between 4 and 9. I knew how to pretend with an inanimate object like a broom, pretend it was a guitar. I lived just around the block from this. It's called Craig's Warehouse. It was a party store in the town I grew up in, where you could go and you could get balloons and little trinkets and tchotchkes, hot tchotchkes, for parties. It's where you would go to get the banner if you put one up on the wall for your kid's birthday from ages, born to typically about the time the hormones start coming in. Whatever that is for you is where you kind of start up in the ante on that. But they had a variety. They had, short story long, they had inflatable guitars, electric. Well, inflatable electric guitars. And they were purple, and they were just like this guitar. But it was just a blow-up little inflatable balloon, and you could just hold that. I would just hold that in the mirror and just rock out. We had like a boom box, a little portable stereo unit. We'd put that on the front porch, and we'd put these CDs. That's when music came to. We had these little discs, and you'd go and you'd put it in the CD player, and you'd play it on the boom box, the jam box, or the whatever the hell you want to call it, on your speakers, and we would just play all the hits that were coming out, that we liked from various genres. The neighborhood. There were a number of boys in my neighborhood that were of my age group and that we enjoyed some of the bands that were coming out at the time. And we would pretend to play in the front yard, on my mom's porch, in Petaluma, California, right behind the police station. We would sit there. We would stand. It was hard. It was always hard to get one of us to agree to sit down and do the drum motion. And my mom kept chopsticks when we enjoyed some of the finer Eastern cuisines. So I would have chopsticks for some kid to hold if we didn't have a pair of sticks, or the poor Scoville boy in my neighborhood growing up. One day he was the one who said, I don't want to sit down and pretend to play, we needed a drummer. So we had, I proposed it to him. He was like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend. All I had for him was like a spoon and a fork that day to pretend to play. And he was like, I want to be up there with you guys with, the guitars. So those of us who couldn't afford like a $5 inflatable guitar would have a broomstick or like whatever they had, and we'd just be jumping up and down in the front yard to the latest rock or punk or alternative sample that was out there playing on the radio. And we had the parents would come out from the neighborhood and watch us perform, and everyone just thought it was so great. It was a beautiful thing. I mean, way to get into the music that your kids liked and tolerate, that music. I mean, not every mother and father, in 1999 was a big Papa Roach fan, or Blink-182, or Limp Bizkit and Korn. That was the lineup, really. We would just play those CDs and just jump up and down, learn the moves physically. And then by the time I was 13, it was time, I was able to, I'd been asking, I wanted to play bass. That was my thing. I wanted to play the bass. I wanted to be the bass player and just jump up and down like a maniac and be cool. And it was my mother who said, you're going to learn how to play guitar. If you want to play the bass, you can play the bass, but you're going to learn the guitar. Now, I don't subscribe to that being the best way to learn how to play the bass, but I certainly would agree that is the way. That is how you learn how to play guitar, is by learning how to play the guitar. I will always be grateful for that. I wanted to, go be the bass player, and she was like, well, you know what? A lot of your favorite bass players know how to play the guitar. So if you want to play bass, you can play bass, but you're going to learn how to play the guitar. My father played guitar. So I guess, for whatever her reasons were, they were good enough for me. I mean, and for all the arguments to be held against my request as a young, a little shit, that was the counter, that was the compromise to make. Forever grateful for that, She was one of the most beautiful women I've ever known, and let me tell you, she had a fucking set of teeth that would have put the fear of God in any of you. But either way, music was, they were supportive. And my father was a musician in the house when I was growing up. Our living room was a studio that he had made, his little home studio. He had a synthesizer, a keyboard out, maybe I don't know if it was a Yamaha or whatever, and he had this one electric guitar that would live in the case at so there was his desk, his workbench, where he had his keyboard. It was clear glass, so it was this glass table that held and had glass like a shelf in it. And he had the electric guitar on the bottom in the case, but I could see it through the front of his desk that was made of glass. So it was something we had to be very careful walking by it. We're not allowed to have, young, 4 or 5, we were not having friends over. The friends we did have over were close to the family and close to the neighborhood, but obviously, I mean, by the time I was 6, he was moving out of the house. It was okay. I was able to have my buddies over. But when I was 3-4 years old, my father's recording studio was this glass table in the living room that had a synthesizer on it, and he kept his electric guitar down there where I could see it. And he had his acoustic guitar in a case. He ended up moving into the living room. Actually, he would, share a bed with my mom and all that, but he ended up sleeping on the couch down there in his studio when I was 5 years old. He was about 6 when he had to leave, when he moved out. And that was what was shown to me, He was not around a lot at all. And but what times he was around, he taught me how to hold, what do you call it, how to fire a BB gun, how to not ever point the end of a BB gun at anybody. And we set up a little styrofoam cone on the table in the living room across to the kitchen, and we were shooting at it. The ricochet of the pelt got him. He said, "Oh wow, that he taught me a lot of things, little things that I hope continue to do me well as far as how I feel about myself as I traverse this realm of being with infinite amount of other beings who are completely individual, which is the crazy part, because y'all are fucking sheep.